Well, we have with us today an assistant professor of religion at Northern Caribbean University and at Seventh-day Adventist Institution, Dr. Clinton Baldwin. He teaches in the School of Religion and Theology at NCU. He did his PhD at Andrews University, top-rated Adventist Theological Seminary globally. He did his PhD in New Testament studies in textual criticism. He is a scholar of the New Testament text.
So we do not have
The original.
any of the autographs, the very first document written by any Bible writer, both from the Old or New Testament. All the autographs.
So we have none of the originals
We do not
of the
have.
Bible.
They've all been lost.
All of them been lost.
Every single one.
So we're just depending
What we
on
have
copies.
are copies of copies of copies of copies of copies.
Whoa. And we
And-
base our whole lives on copies of copies of copies of copies. Make
do-
all our decisions in our lives based on copies of copies, and we don't even know the original.
Let's
People marry and divorce and that. People.
let's go slowly. Let's go slowly. Let's go slowly. Let's go slowly.
This is very disturbing information here, Doc. This highly trained textual scholar, now teaching in the School of Religion and Theology at Northern Caribbean University, Dr. Clinton Baldwin, enlightening us on the matter of how we got the Bible, what is the Bible, disturbing issues to be dealt with this evening. We just learned from Dr. Clinton Baldwin that we have no copies of the originals of the Bible. The original autographs of the Bible have all been lost. Bart Ehrman, in his book, Misquoting Jesus, he says, not only do we not have the originals, we don't have the first copies of the originals. We don't even have copies of the originals, or copies of the copies of the copies of the originals. What we have are copies made later, much later. And these copies all differ from one another in many thousands of places. These copies differ from one another in so many places that we don't even know how many differences there are. There are 300 to 400,000 variants in the copies. More variants than you have words in the New Testament. One of the most famous stories in the Bible, the woman caught in adultery. You as a scholar know that that was not in the original Bible. It's not attested as an original. That was something put into the sacred word. Explain
It's a story
the story.
that was transmitted orally.
Yeah.
There are around 6 different versions of the story, and eventually in the 9th century, thereabout, the version which we now have in our Bible got into the text.
That's the 9th century.
Yes, 900 years after Christ. Most scholars are convinced that it sounds like something Jesus would have done,
But we're not sure.
and we're not sure. Definitely not
A lot
sure.
of preachers who preach about the woman caught in adultery, we're not sure.
but it reflects the spirit of Jesus.
Yes,
I would say
yes.
it reflects the spirit of Jesus.
But
The
might
spirit
not be
we would not
actual
say
words.
it's an actual word, an actual story. We cannot be definitive where that is concerned, but it reflects the spirit of Jesus. And yes, it was definitely not written by John. Definitely. I mean,
It was not written by John.
I mean, the arguments for that are overwhelming.
Overwhelming. It was
Yes,
not written by
yes,
John.
it's-
So that passage in John was not written by John.
the manuscripts for the first 900 years of Christianity did not contain it. When
That's
it
important.
when it
The
turned,
manuscripts of the first 900 years did not contain that popular story from in John. Yes, they did.
we should fine. We got to admit that.
Yes,
We got to admit that.
yes.
I would like to say to begin with that the Bible is not perfect in all its details.
The Bible is not perfect.
No.
So the Bible is not a perfect book. It's in the Bible. How do we know what parts to stake our lives on? Remember, we're making decisions about our marriage, we're making decisions about career, everything. How do we know which parts?
That's
If the perfect God was not able to perfectly preserve His Word, because even if it were inspired originally, if the Bible on our desk is not inspired, what is the sense that we are saying it comes from originally inspired autographs. But if the Bible on our desk,
but
is not inspired.
In what you have just said,
preservation.
You have inherent in what you have just said is a definition of inspiration, which means infallibility.
Yes.
There is no such thing. Inspiration does not mean infallibility or inerrancy.
But the average person watching us, listening to us on RGR 94 FM, watching us on the internet all over the world, many of these persons, certainly in Jamaica, they believe the Bible infallibly can't make an error, including many intelligent people and many Adventists.
And to be honest with you,
they are shocked tonight, and they feel that the Bible doesn't have any error, that the Bible is a perfect book, it's infallible. And you're saying no.
We do not want to overemphasize the fact that there are errors in the Bible.
New perspectives on religious hard talk. It's not the kind of thing you normally hear on a Sunday or a Sabbath morning, but it's things that we have to grapple with. Religious hard talk, sometimes disturbing, always informative. Assistant Professor of Religion in the School of Religion and Theology at Northern Caribbean University, Dr. Clinton Baldwin. He did his PhD in textual studies and has been quite a productive scholar, really an engaging mind, who did his doctorate at Andrews University.